Hi everyone, going to be going over a quick trade recap here that I took on the indexes this morning. It was a put credit spread taken, so following Gnotz's overall strategy. Essentially, I learned his strategy on the server. I will link a couple of his videos for those of you curious, but essentially he trades out of the money spreads that he expects to expire worthless, collects the premium, and then allows price to sort of reverse and then chop through to the rest of the day. And usually those strikes end up being quite far away. So again, I'll link a couple of sources there for it. And I'll probably do a couple sessions in the future in collaboration with him that I'll post to the YouTube as well. But a lot of these reversals that I'm targeting with spreads can be taken the same on options. The reason I do spreads is just it requires a bit less monitoring intraday, as I'm often in and out of different one-on-one meetings, and it's a bit more stress-free method I've been using lately. So yeah. So anyways, getting into the actual trade itself, we started a pretty sharp drop off. So CPI pumped overnight. We swept that overnight high early morning, and then we started this steep sell-off, right? I don't trade the first 30 minutes New York session. So for me, once I see this steep sell-off, I'm immediately thinking, okay, where can we start to form a very strong floor for us to base off of and to get a push upwards, right? And so for me, first thing I noticed, first thing I was looking for is once we start getting these different levels to start showing up, these different floors, is I want to see the first moment where we're seeing strong floors across at least two maps, right? So first moment for me was around 1020, 1023 when I start to notice, okay, like look, SPY and QQQ are forming some pretty strong floors here at 690, 609. So actually these were more of a stack, right, of negative volume. So we have the 609, 608 stack on QQQ, and then we have this 690 to 688 stack on SPY. SPX floor was actually a bit lower towards 6905, 6900. Um, but we did have a little bit of a resistance here at 6920, 6925. But my overall thesis on the bounce was coming more so from SPY and QQQ, these floor levels, as well as there not being much volume below, right? So below 688 on QQQ, there's almost no volume down here. And we still see quite a sizable amount of volume up here between 693 to 698. Or if you total all these nodes, this is quite a large amount of volume, right? Same thing on SPY, or sorry, on QQQ. We're seeing a lot of volume up here, 614 to 618. So similar kind of thesis. I will say SPY was probably the most bullish case. QQQ did have these nodes down here that were a bit concerning. Um, but overall, this was my thesis, right? Of okay, we're going to come down, see if we hit this pocket here on SPY, and if we hit this pocket here at QQQ. Yeah, so the other thing I'll mention here, right, is this 690 level to 688 is this range here, right, on the map or on the chart, sorry. And then for the 609 to 608, that range is more so here. So actually this entry was not perfect. It was a bit early, I'll be honest. So I was taking it around here on the 623, or sorry, that was a bit early actually. So I actually took it on this candle here. 623 was the time I entered, which is what I have pulled up here on the heat maps. Um, to be a bit more conservative, what I would recommend is wait for whenever we have these pockets of negative gamma, right? A lot of times we'll wick pretty hard through them and we'll have a pretty big undershoot. So a lot of times you can wait for either the midpoint or the lower end. So in the case of SPY, you'd be waiting for 689, possibly even a bit lower. And then QQQ, definitely you'd be waiting maybe 608.5 or even 608 itself to tap and reject. So, and if you check, we hit 689 basically on the dot before reversing. And on QQQ, we went actually a little bit under 608 before getting that big wick. Or sorry, not big wick, but that big reversal and push upwards. So yeah, that's probably one thing I can improve on this trade, right? Is whenever we're having these negative nodes, be focusing more on taking that undershoot. So yeah, I will admit this one was a bit of an early entry. But as you can see, these levels held very, very strong. And supported the push all the way up, right? And afterwards, we got a big increase in volume up here on 694. Same thing on QQQ. We got a big increase in volume at 612, 614. And SPX also got a big reshuffle up to the upside. So yeah, that was the trade I took this morning. As for the actual execution, I entered at 623. And this is where I say whether it was a spread or just normal call options, this trade would have worked out perfectly. Since it was a put credit spread, I selected this 6,830 leg. So like I said earlier, right, the logic is we're trying to sell a leg that is very far out of the money, collect that premium and buy a leg that's a bit lower, collect the premium between them, and have something that will expire worthless, right? So I'm selling a leg at 6,830. Obviously, that is almost $80, a little bit more than $80 under current price, what price was at the time. So we got this bounce up. Contracts are up, I think, around 70, 80% already by roughly this area here. And then as the day chops on, my contracts are basically slowly going to zero, right? But since I sold them, I was collecting the full premium by that manner, and then by end of day, let them expire worthless. And yeah, that's a successful day for that strategy. It tends to be if you can find a good reversal early morning, and then let it chop through or just cut it once you're up 70, 80%. Pretty stress-free, and you can be a bit more flexible in the entry. But yeah, but in any case, this reversal to me was a very nice trade that was possible to catch today. Yeah, so again, leave any questions in the comments. Feel free to leave a like, follow me. I would appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful.